Hey guys, AJ here. I don't know about you, but I'm really starting to miss being around people I haven't seen in a while. It's hard to be away from people we care about. And today, we're going to hear about a man who had a sickness called leprosy. Have you heard that word before? Leprosy. And like the coronavirus, people were afraid of catching it. So he had to stay away from his family and friends. But Jesus helped him, and Jesus' power helps us when we're lonely too. That's our theme for the day. Jesus' power helps us when we're lonely too. Now before we dive into our lesson, let's take a minute to talk about two things. Like how we always do every week, how have you seen God at work this week? And my second question is, what's been the hardest thing for you during this quarantine? I'm going to give you guys a minute to share with your family and to think about that question, and then come right back, okay? We got a lot of cool stuff. See you in a minute. Welcome back. As I said earlier, one of the hardest things for many people is not being able to see friends and extended family. For me, I miss my family like crazy. It's a little different since most live far away, but it's still really tough. Being separated from people we care about can make us feel lonely. But Jesus' power helps us when we're lonely. Now let's hear about Jesus' power, how Jesus' power helped a man in the Bible who was probably very lonely. Now, back in the Bible times, there was a disease called leprosy. If you got it, you'd get painful sores all over your body. Ugh, that's kind of gross. And there was no cure. And often people who caught it would die or lose fingers or toes. That's pretty disgusting. But people were afraid of catching it, much like people are afraid of the coronavirus right now. Now, what are some things that we're supposed to do right now to avoid catching the coronavirus? Think about it. I know you guys have talked about it, you've heard about it, you've seen it everywhere. A couple things. One, that we should be doing anyway, is washing our hands. You should be washing your hands. Come on. You're going to the bathroom, wash your hands. That should be a no-brainer. That should be really, really easy because we should be doing that anyway. But the second one is a little harder, and it's staying separated, or also called social distancing. You've probably heard people say social distancing. Now we're being told that to stay safe from catching the coronavirus, we're supposed to be 6 feet away from each other. Oh wait, you know what? I have a tape measure right here. Tape measure. Now, that's 1 foot, 1 foot. Let's see, 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, just keeps going, 5 feet, and 6 feet. Now, you can't see the tape measure in the camera because it's a small picture, but that's pretty long, isn't it? Look at all this. Whoa! Wow. Now let's see. 6 feet is pretty far. If you don't have a way of measuring it, that's okay. Just guess. People in Bible times knew all about social distancing. In fact, they were so afraid of catching leprosy, it was against the law for someone with leprosy to even come into the city. And if someone with leprosy was around other people, he or she had to call out, "Unclean! I'm unclean!" Now, can you imagine walking around the city saying, "I'm unclean"? That's crazy. It wouldn't be a lot of fun. You wouldn't have a lot of friends. So everyone around would know to stay away from you. No one wanted to accidentally touch someone with leprosy. All those rules must have made people who had leprosy feel really, really lonely. Now, let's try something really quick. Now, without losing your 6 feet of separation, and if you're not 6 feet away, figure out maybe 6 feet. You can use your feet and just count 6 feet away. Separate yourself from your family for 1 second. All right? Now, without losing that 6 feet of separation, reach out and try to hug the other people in your family. Now remember, you can't lean in and get closer than 6 feet. Unless you have really, really long arms, you aren't even able to touch anyone. No hugs, no pats on the back, just you and your own little bubble. Well, let's see what Jesus did when he met someone who had leprosy. If you want to follow along in your Bible, let's look it up. It's in Matthew chapter 8, verses 1 through 3. Now, this is really cool because this is right after Jesus comes down the mountain, and he talks about, he had just talked about building your house upon the rock. Now, that's a really cool story. If you haven't read that, you can go back a chapter and check it out. But there's a lot of cool parables and a lot of good things that Jesus talks about. But Matthew chapter 8 talks about, at the very beginning, about a man with leprosy who Jesus ran into. Now, let's see here. Starting in verse 1. When he came down from the mountainside, large crowds followed him. A man with leprosy came and knelt before him and said, "Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean." Jesus reached out his hand and touched the man. What? Wait, did you hear that? Jesus reached out and touched the man. "I am willing," he said. "Be clean." And immediately he was cured of his leprosy. Then Jesus said to him, "See that you don't tell anyone, but go, show yourself to the priests, and offer the gift Moses commanded as a testimony to them." Now wait a minute. Did you hear that? Did you hear what Jesus did? Let me say it again. Jesus touched the man. Now I'm not telling you to go out and touch everybody you see. That's not what I'm saying. But this man probably hadn't had a hug or a pat on the back or any form of touch, a high five, nothing for years. Then Jesus touched him. Jesus wasn't afraid of getting leprosy. Jesus knew his power was greater than any disease, leprosy or coronavirus. Jesus knew that not only did this man's body need healing, but his heart needed healing too. This man needed to feel Jesus' love right there on his arm or his shoulder or his head or wherever he did it. He needed a loving touch to heal his loneliness. Now, we need to be wise and protect ourselves from sickness right now. That's a given, all right? I'm not telling you to go out and just do whatever. But being separated from people can make us feel really, really lonely. Here's a couple questions I have for you this week. Who do you know that might be feeling lonely right now? And how could you reach out to them? Be creative. I know you guys are creative. You guys have been doing awesome things the last few weeks. Who do you know who's lonely, and how can you reach out to them? Be super creative. I love, love, love seeing your creativity. And if you guys come up with a really cool idea, send me a text, let me know, post it on our Facebook page, post it anywhere. I would just love to see how creative you are and how you are reaching people who might be lonely this week. We can reach out to help others when they're lonely. But even when no one else is around, Jesus' power helps us when we're lonely. He's always right there with us to comfort us and to heal our hearts. Now, one way Jesus' power heals us is when we're lonely, is to remind us that Jesus is our friend. No matter what's going on right now, you always have a friend who is right there next to you. Let me say that again. He's right there next to you. Not 6 feet away, not 20 feet away, not up in the sky. He's right there with you. Now, let's sing a song about that. I love you guys. I miss you guys so much. I can't wait to see you soon. Until next time. Bye, guys.